So once you click on the link to get to Cami, what you're going to want to do is, of course, just sign in using Google. And it should take you here to the menu where it's going to ask where you want to pull a document from. You want to do open from my computer. And once you have that, you want to then identify where your downloaded poem is. And it could take a little bit of digging around to help you get there. But once you do, you're going to find your poem and you're going to go ahead and open it up here in Cami. Now that it's open up here in Cami, what you're going to want to do is use the annotation tools to then tell me where your literary devices are and where you are using imagery specifically, where you are looking at a literal representation of where you're from, where you're looking at a figurative representation of where you're from. So you can do this by highlighting or by underlining, whatever works for you, but make sure that you don't just highlight. You, of course, have to include in your own words what's going on there. So I can start with my first sentence here where I have I am from Apple and Amazon from Alexa. And I would go ahead and mark it up using that as the highlighting tool. If it asks you to save to drive and upload, you definitely want to do that just so you have a backup copy in case anything happens. Now that I've selected I am from Apple and Amazon and from Alexa, and hover over that and see I can now leave a comment, which is where I will put alliteration. And I'm just going to keep track so I know that that's 1 out of 9 that I have to use. I then continued through, and I mentioned that I am from the sun-soaked sands of San Diego, the multitudinous mountains of Mariposa, and the smog-soaked streets of Shanghai, which once again, I will make a note of here that not only is it alliteration, but this is also a literal representation of where I am from. Heavy and gray, the air smells like fire, it tastes like pennies. I could, of course, again, make a note here. Hit the comment, speech bubble icon there. And I'm going to go ahead and put metaphor. So I now know that this is actually 3 of 9. But then what I would also make a note of in here is that not only is it a metaphor, but I'm also using imagery here, specifically taste and smell. Then continue on making note of the literary devices that I've employed. I make note of the literal representations of where I'm from and my places, the figurative representations all the way through. And once I have finished annotating, once I have finished leaving comments here based on my annotations, I'm going to come up here to download. I'm going to make sure that I export it to my computer with all of the annotations, and I'll simply hit begin export, which will then allow me to download a copy right here of my annotated PDF, which I, of course, will then submit here as my final draft annotated version. So if you have any trouble with that, just let me know. I just want to make sure that you're going through and you're identifying the necessary components that you were supposed to include, making sure that you have included them, because we really want to start working on playing around with figurative language in our writing and looking at how we can use it to our advantage and how we can use metaphors to make the abstract seem more concrete, how we can use alliteration to create a sense of rhythm in our writing. So make sure you have all of the necessary components. They are included there in the assignment itself, so you know what it is that you're looking for. And once you have that done, download as a PDF with your annotations and submit it.